Hello, YouTube, and whatever corners of the internet this video eventually finds itself on. I just wanted to welcome you to my first ever New Comic Book Day review of my personal pull list for the week. My name is Jesse Arnold. I'll be trying to do this video every week for New Comic Book Day and just update different videos throughout the week and at different times for movies or shows or books, different things that definitely get my geek interests up and hopefully will be of interest to other people. So thanks for joining, and I'm just going to jump right into my pull list for the week. And I've got these running down in kind of least favorite to favorite issues for the week. So that's not to say that I think any of them are necessarily bad by being at the top, but I just work down towards the ones that I enjoyed the most. And it's always a little bit different than the way I plan out because I read them in what I think is going to be my favorite list, from least to most, and sometimes it's a little different. So, not that you necessarily needed to know that, but that's how I read my comics, um, because it keeps me motivated to keep reading, to get through the stack, to get to the ones that I want to read the absolute most. There are a few exceptions to that, which I'm sure I'll divulge in the days to come, but I'll just jump right in here with my picks for the week. Looks like I got about eight books this week that I picked up, and we'll start off with the first one is Marauders #7 by Jerry Dugan, Stefano Casilli, and Edgar Delgado, from the X-Men universe, the relaunch following House of X and Powers of X, or Powers of 10, however you say it. So Marauders 7. Yes, that is the famous Morlock Callisto there, and we get to see her and where she fits into the scheme of things in this new mutant society on Krakoa. And being that it's a Marauders book, you can definitely tell the different councils will be involved. So you've got the Red Queen, the White Queen, the Black King, all that stuff. So if you are into that storyline, definitely want to check that one out. Um, it's a bit of a cliffhanger from last month's issue, where Kate Pryde, led apparently died. Um, and I will say, spoiler, we don't really learn anything else about that in this issue, so they're definitely playing the long game with teasing that out. So next up is the Greg Rucka Lois Lane miniseries from DC, issue 8 of 12. Um, I'm digging it. Confession, since it's the first video, unless you've seen any of my other attempts at channels with reviews in the past, I never started reading DC regularly until New 52. And I didn't really get into Superman and Lois Lane until the Lois and Clark miniseries that came out of the Convergence storyline. I've been pretty faithfully following Action Superman and Lois Lane in the Rebirth and Beyond storylines, and I miss the early days of the Rebirth stories with them as a family. But this Lois Lane story, following her as the investigative journalist and what she's doing with Renee Montoya and trying to investigate the different things that have happened in the kind of Superman action comic side of the world, has been pretty interesting. It's been a good solo series for her as far as I'm concerned, and it's been a lot of fun. Up next is Image Comics Isola, issue 10. I feel like it has been a long time since issue 9 has been out. I did not do my research beforehand to remember how long, but I know I got to this and I just devoured it way too fast. And I think it says something about the next issue's not coming until the summer of 2020. So I've got a ways to wait to find out what happens next, as do all of us who are enjoying this comic. But if you like fantasy, adventure, travel stories with magic and creatures and worlds that you're not familiar with, Isola is a fantastic series. It is very well written. It is gorgeous artwork. I cannot recommend this book strongly enough. So head out to your local comic shop, see if you can pick up the first trade, and if they have any of the other issues. If not, I'm not sure if Volume 2 is out yet or not. You'd think working in a comic shop I would know these things. Sadly, I don't retain all the information for everything. Up next, issue 1 of the new miniseries, X-Men Fantastic Four, again, spinning out of the uh, cultural clash of the new Dawn of X world. Um, if you weren't aware of this, Franklin Richards is a mutant, son of Reed and Sue from the Fantastic Four. So this story is largely centered on him and the Professor X wanting to bring him to Krakoa, to the mutant homeland, and his parents aren't quite so keen on that. So it's interesting. It's not just heroes versus heroes for the sake of having a fight where you can see whose power set would win. There's actually a pretty interesting story here. And of course, with the Dodsons on art and Chip Zdarsky writing, it's going to be a fantastic story. I really like the first issue. I can't wait to see where it goes next. Up next, again, following with my no DC until the New 52, Young Justice, which is a series I know has been very popular, and there's a lot of very passionate fans out there for the series in its iterations beforehand. I've not read it until the series started, I guess a little over a year ago. It has been a lot of fun. Um, I always like seeing the teams of younger heroes come together, like Young Justice, Champions at Marvel, and other things. And it's just been a lot of fun seeing these different characters, especially ones that I had knowledge of before New 52, having not been addressed in the New 52, and how they're just kind of plugging things in and explaining some of their absences and whatnot. Next up is another indie book from Vault Comics, Money Shot #4. Um, this is probably one of the most off the beaten path comics I read. I picked up the first issue on a whim. I just thought the premise sounded really funny, and it's got great writing. It's very funny. The artwork is amazing. It is not for everyone. Definitely would not recommend this for younger readers. It is about a team of Earth scientists who have decided to fund their way into space by doing essentially space porn with aliens, and it's definitely out there. It's weird. It's great. It's a lot of fun. Again, definitely for more mature readers. My final two, Doctor Doom, #5. This series has been great. I have tried several times over the years to get into Fantastic Four. Every time I did, I would have just missed, a great run. I tried the 2 or 3 times they started with the Marvel Now, and every time I just didn't feel like the characters were not the version of the team I wanted to read. I mean, it was the same people, but just the personalities and their everything just didn't work out. So after that long gap of Marvel not putting out any Fantastic Four books, I was very excited when they announced that. And then when Doctor Doom started a couple months ago, I was very excited to sign up for this because I think he is one of Marvel's best villains when written well. And this series has been great, showing him as both the leader of his nation and just a human being beset with what he thinks are the weight of the world on his shoulders. As many heroes, he just goes about it in a different way. So it's nice to read a story about a would-be villain told in a very interesting way. I'm not a huge villain guy, which is kind of odd considering what that book and what my #1 pick for the week is. But well-written villains, not necessarily made to feel sympathetic or where I can understand where they're coming from, but at least to sympathize with them, but at least know their motivations and everything, is always more interesting to me than just I want to blow everything up or take everybody over or whatever. So between Doom and Magneto, they're two of my favorite villains of all time, especially from Marvel and just in comics in general. So yeah, Doctor Doom #5 kind of brings not a culmination, but it brings a turning point in the story that we've been having thus far in the series, where he's been seeing visions of an alternate life for himself, and he comes face to face with one of the major factors of that alternate life, and it doesn't quite go as he expected, and he responds in true Doctor Doom fashion, which is really amazing. And #1 pick for the week is Star Wars Darth Vader #1. Um, I don't know how I couldn't not pick this week. The uh, the premise of this book is it's following the events of Empire Strikes Back, just like the current Star Wars series is. And this is Vader. He is reeling from the fallout of not being able to turn Luke to the dark side and join him. And he's not really quite sure what to do. So it's been a really fun first issue. There's some surprising, I don't know about twists, but there's some surprising things in it. The artwork is gorgeous. There's some great scenes. Like some artists do a really good job of capturing the likeness of the characters, but this makes me actually feel like I'm watching a Star Wars movie in panel form. Just the movements, the lightsaber action he gets into. The only complaint I have with the issue, and maybe this is something that will get addressed and it's very purposeful in the story, is the droid that is assigned to him on his mission. It's very much a comic relief character, which is a weird thing, in my opinion, to have with Darth Vader. But like Dr. Aphra and her droids and the characters they brought into his original series when Marvel got them back, we'll see how it goes. You may come to love this droid as much as some of the other characters that I did not like at first, but we'll see. So anyway, that's it for my comic rundown of the week. Just trying to figure all this out and just do these videos, see where it goes. If you have any comments or questions, feel free to leave them down below. And I'll see you back next Wednesday with next week's batch of new comics. If I don't chime in with some reason, I'll probably be seeing Birds of Prey movie probably tomorrow night. So look for a reaction / review to that and then tomorrow night or Friday. So thanks for stopping by. Hope you have a great day.